Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the Dragoon Cup, the finale of Shaddoll from scratch. The amount of time and money that we've spent crafting together this piece of crap of a deck is now going to be shown to the world. In this tournament, we originally had 22 participants, but throughout the tournament, we ended up with around 16 as quite a few people dropped, unfortunately. However, it still turned out to be one of the most amazing experiences I've had producing this show. But with no further ado, let me explain to you how these last couple of videos of the series is going to work, as it is quite different from what you've seen so far. Obviously, there's going to be no openings for these episodes, it is all going to be tournament recaps. In this episode, which is episode 28, we're going to go over the entire group stage from my perspective, going through all of my games and seeing where I ended up in the table. In episode 29, we're going to go throughout the playoffs and how far I've actually managed to go. And for the last episode of 30, we're going to be live covering the final match of the series, being, of course, the finals. Now, something to keep in mind here, I will not be doing my usual style of commentary for the entirety of this video, as there's about 8 duels to get through and I would probably die attempting to do so. Instead, you will be hearing my commentary after the matches of what I thought I could have done better, where I screwed up completely, or how cheated I was by absolute bullshit. Without any further ado, on the left-hand side of the screen, you will see the current duel that is going on, as well as our previous results, and in between duels, you'll get to hear me again. So, starting off with our first duel, we managed to go up against Barklathameow. Enjoy. Yeah, so as it turns out, I'm a fucking idiot. Attacking into Golden Castle of Stromberg without reading the card's effect first made me feel like a goddamn idiot. To be fair, the second attack I made was actually a misclick. I thought I was in main phase 2 and wanted to swap it to defense in case he summoned Gran Maju, but that doesn't really excuse the fact that we got our asses kicked. The second game was close, and if I wasn't a complete moron about it, I probably would have won that, but it is the way it is. There's not really much I can do about it. So, for game number 2, unfortunately, we got a bye in game number 2. Our original opponent was going to be Ikorian, who did sign up for the tournament, but unfortunately had to drop midway through. So, we were one of few who got a discreet bye, meaning we're now 1-1 as we head into game number 3. In game number 3, we're going up against King Diabetes and his Dino deck. Hoo boy! Okay, so Dinosaurs is one of those decks that I always find to be difficult going up against because there's very, very close choke points where you have a chance to fight against them before UCT just completely takes over the game. Game number 1 was an absolute washout due to the fact that, you know, Diabetes didn't really get anything on the board and able to beat us, and we could just beat him in the face. The second game was such a hard throw because I didn't expect him to have the second Misk in hand, so I was just like, okay, I'll negate with Dragoon early, hope I can punch through, and I got bit in the ass for it. And the third game was an incredible swingy game, but we managed to clutch it out just in time. With that, for game number 4, we're going up against EndOfBattlePhase with the same deck that you saw us play in the last episode. So, let's find out how that went, shall we? Shocking in myself and EndOfBattlePhase alike, I actually managed to come out victorious out of the worst matchup that I know, excluding Drytrons. We could say that he bricked pretty hard in game number 1, and the fact that we simply won out in the war of attrition, being able to clear the board multiple times would just punch over him. And the second game was a bit of a washout, but, you know, those things happen. True Draco has a tendency to brick just as hard as we do, so what can we really do? But I will happily take a win against one of the opponents where I expected to get nothing. Next up for round number 5, we're playing against the Gauss, who's playing Salamangreat. Alright, I haven't seen Salamangreat in a long time, so yeah, let's look at how that went. That Prohibit Snake hurt me more than you could ever imagine, because who on earth is smart enough to run that? Yeah, we took an astounding loss against Gauss, and when you see the results by the end of the group stage, you'll see I wasn't the only one. Gauss is amazing at running Salamangreat, and it really shows. So unfortunately, we have to take the hard defeat on this one, meaning that now we're going forward, we really need some points to make top 8. Next up for round number 6, we're playing FrendOdTvojeStare, I hope that's how you pronounce your name, who's playing Zombie Eldlich, which, if you've watched this channel, you know that when King Baladrock hits the board, we're basically screwed. Let's find out how that went. So remember when I said losing to bullshit? How about ashing every single activation of the Golden Land and then being met with a triple tactics talent twice? Fucking twice. And now that I looked back through the replay, he had it ready in game 3 as well. Jesus fuck. No, this game actually made me kind of sad at the fact that we were so close multiple times and we just lost out in value, which is very easy to do to zombies. But we take a hard 1-2 loss, and now we are actually clutching at the grasp of things, because if we lose both of our next matches, there is no chance we're making top 8. That would be kind of depressing. Regardless, next up is a good friend of the channel, TheOmegaCondor, running his sealed-only Dragon Link, which, statistically so far, we haven't lost to. Let's try to make sure it stays that way. Getting out-negated that hard is just unfortunate. It's not like Condor had an unbreakable board or anything, but it was quite clear that my mind at this point was definitely something else, because in Game 3, I definitely could have played that better and maybe even outed the board if I decided to go for the Eldlich route instead. Unfortunate, which this means for round number 8, we have to win. Losing here means there is 0% chance that we make it into the top 8, and winning means there is a slim chance of a tiebreaker for top 8. For our final round, we're playing up against Javifriend, who is the second player in this tournament to be running Salamangreat. We got absolutely stomped in the first attempt against Gauss, so this is the make it or break it moment. Wish me luck. And just like that, by the skin of our teeth and the help of massive space rocks, we clutch out a win for round 8. Now, before I reveal to you the results of the group stage, I'd like to point out that I'm not perfect. I sucked ass in many of these matches, but you know what? That's half the fun of having run this tournament. Some players played incredibly seriously, some are just playing fun stuff, and it's an unfortunate thing that I didn't get to play everyone because there were a lot of opponents I would have wanted to give a chance to. However, I'd like to thank every single one of the group participants for joining the Dragoon Cup. It was the first time that I had hosted an event in a very long time, and I think it turned out great, even for those who didn't end up winning. Now, without any further ado, let me reveal to you the results of the group stage of the Dragoon Cup.